Good morning, everyone. Paul here with GammaEdge. Today is Friday, the 13th of May. Please pause your viewer, read this. It's important to you, it's important to us. Thank you. So we have a mixed picture overall when we take a look at the indices. On the upper left here, you can see the SPX. We've had a net increase in net negative gamma on the cumulative here. But we've also had a slight increase in the net positive gamma. So what this is indicating is that puts were added to the complex and calls were added to the complex relative to the prior day. Same thing for the SPY. Taking a look at the Qs, the puts are relatively stable. We actually had a monetization yesterday. We had a drop in the overall call structure, so that's very interesting. On the IWM, drop in the calls and a increase in the puts, so just be aware of that. Another key thing to watch when you're looking at these charts, look where the black dot is. The Qs, IWM, and the SPY are all cash settled, or excuse me, equity settled. So what that means in the big picture is that there's a lot of in the money, and any sense of losing that in the money status could cause a rally. On the flip side, loss of these key levels here could be indicative of even more downside movement as people will start piling on more and more puts to the downside. So just be aware of how those mechanics work. If you have any questions about that, join us in our Discord, and we'd be happy to walk through some of the logic and some of the reflexiveness that occurs there. Taking a look at the expiries, I've called out some of the key levels here, 39, 39.25, 4,000 that you can see, and you can see by the black dot where we are relative to these. Again, if we lose these key levels that you see here, we may see an intraday push to add more puts. When we have that, that actually is a negative feedback or positive feedback condition where as we add puts, the dealer responses to sell, and that pushes price down. You can see we're very, very close here in the Qs, and you can see we're also very, very close here in IWM. If we are below these key levels, we could get a monetization. We're always watchful of that. We've been seeing some puts come off the table, but they've been completely dominated by other action. Taking a look at the gamma history, POI dropped several days ago for the SPY, so in terms of the SPY, we did see a little bit of monetization with a drop of minus GEX yesterday. The key here, takeaway, is that we're not seeing everybody come rushing down to take advantage of the price overhead. So that suggests, all things being equal, that there is no real expectation for the SPY to advance aggressively. Taking a look here at the Qs, we are below POI, and as I've said and as we've tested with our partner EdgeRater, we don't stay in this condition too long. Either POI will drop due to a monetization, or we'll get a reversal upward, and this will be short-lived. What we are seeing here, though, is that we've got deep in the money. That could result in some monetization pushing us north. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here. It is important to note that positive gamma has shot back up here to the 400 level. What that typically means is they're not positioned to take advantage of a push upward. And again, that is corroborated over here in the SPY, that we're just not seeing a lot of folks thinking that we're going to aggressively move up. Looking here at the IWM, below POI, we've had this drop in minus GEX. So we've had some monetization as it does fall, but you can see the long-term puts are remaining in the money. We're not seeing a monetization of those things, so I think there is a thought process going on, especially without any change in the other structures, that this is here to stay. So across the board, even though we may have some short-term bullishness indicated, long-term or longer term, I think it's bearish. And so that's kind of my bias thinking as I look into this. Taking a look at the flow summary, we had puts added to the SPY yesterday. We had calls actually sold off into the close. Contrasting on the Qs, we actually had calls added during the day and puts being monetized. Very, very interesting opposites here. IWM, pretty small magnitude, so I wouldn't read a whole lot into this. We had puts actually being monetized earlier and then added back into the end of the day. We've seen this behavior over and over. Again, fairly weak. The call structure relative to the put structure, not a lot of calls going in here. In fact, not very opportunistic in terms of the upside movement here, despite some of what we've seen in the Russell and IWM in the shortest of terms. The market model here, terrible breadth. You can see it across the board looking back. The institutions did stop here on the filtered cumulative tick. They did stop at about 315. Maybe a little bit of participation to the upside, taking advantage of the rally that we saw here. But in general, flat into the close, not a very strong bull. So we didn't see an intraday reversal, at least from the large sweep order perspective for the institutionals. We are in this long-term downtrend, as you can see here, and the failure of the CT, the cumulative tick, to actually cross the shortest moving averages is indicative of that we're just simply too early to call. We need to see this move up to have any confidence to go long. If you go long at this point, it's for a short period of time because there's no confirmation in the CT that you should be doing so. Taking a look at the structure zeros, across the board, they're all falling. When they're falling, we're adding negative gamma and negative delta. It's as simple as that. So independent of this rise that we saw in the SPX yesterday, there is not a lot of support here in the SPX to suggest that calls are being added, which would move the gamma and the delta zeros upward. The ES levels, they actually have moved up in terms of positive trends and positive GEX. This suggests profit taking at the lower levels, exposing the higher levels. Note that we've got this 4010 and 4000 level overhead. This is a single expiry on the ES. This is important because we've got a lot to plow through, and you'll see that here in a minute. On the good side, VWAP did provide support in the overnight session, so we're looking very closely at that and watching that. And the other nice thing about this is that we are seeing VIX come down. We're down now at 30% or 31%, which you can see is off quite a bit from where we were playing yesterday. So again, kind of a mixed picture. It looks like some profit taking. We've got a huge overhead level here. We're just going to have to watch and see. This is pretty significant here. We've got a net reduction in the overall positive gamma, even though we've moved up a little bit from where we were yesterday. This is the key here. We have actually seen a shift downward in the dominant SPX expiry now is at 3,700. This is pretty important for this strike because if you believe gamma and price are interrelated, meaning price follows gamma, the structure is moving down. If the structure is moving down, yes, of course you can play strategically some short-term uptrends, but in general, we're moving down. Keep that in mind as you look forward. We've had a significant growth in next week's expiry. Keep track of that also. A lot of negative gamma coming off, so a lot of this is vaporizing next week. We've actually had a little reduction from where we were yesterday about what's expiring today, but there's still significant gamma, negative gamma coming off. And if we can continue to see the VIX reduce, we could see some flows coming in. I know everyone wants to jump on the Vanna and the Charm rally, but the moneyness aspect of this dominates the air in the room. So don't get hung up on Vanna and Charm until we can resolve some of what we're seeing here, because the moneyness equation here really impacts the delta positioning with minor influences in Vanna and Charm. When we take a look at the 0 DTE for today, very loose, very wild structure. Take a look at the transition points here, though. This is where your eye should be going. You can see why we settled where we did. They're very strong causal and correlation that we do tend to hide in these zero areas in the overnight sessions. So keep track of where these different levels are. I will note not a very strong upward expiry. We do have that negative that I talked about, and you can see the key levels that are coming off here today. 3850 is once we remove that may open the door to the downside. 3965 here. not a lot of strength to the upside to pull us upward. So my bias with the 0 DTE is still down, and you can see where 4,000 is, by the way, a very, very strong negative level at 4,000. The combo, which is the AM and the PM settled on the SPX, we do not include the SPY in that, just so everyone knows. Huge negative level here. Again, the net gamma dollars, notional dollars, and the net GEX here, extremely big negative number. You'll hear the terms oversold. I don't know how you equate that to a gamma level per se. We know the market has definitely been oversold. RSI, for example, is pounding the lower levels. But as many of you who are experienced in this, you know you can stay oversold. So that really doesn't matter that you're oversold or not. We are well hedged, and you saw that in the SPX complex. Another key thing I want to highlight for you is that COI has dropped from 5,000 back down to the 4,000 strike. Now we've got POI here, COI here, coupled with 71 billion in net notional delta here. So very, very important. And all the way down here is at 3,700, and you can see the key levels on the net deltas here. A lot to plow through. These are going to be sticky levels as we get to them. They're going to be hard to plow through, but if we do plow through, we'll probably get trapped in these different layers here. So be aware of that and how we can look at that. Finally, about 30% of the SPX is still scheduled to come off between now and next Friday, which is a big number in terms of the overall complex. So just recapping here, the wing charts were mixed, were transitional. My bias is downward. From the history charts, price is not recovering above the POI. This is a change in character. Typically by the 5th day we do recover. We're not there. So we're going to look at that with some suspect here as a change in behavior. The zeros of the SPX complex are dropping. As I said, we're adding negative gamma, negative delta. That's important here. VIX has dropped, which is good, which is upward support, and we are seeing less demand because we are well hedged. That could be supportive of a move upward. We're not seeing calls being added, though, across the SPX, the SPY, and the IWM with any consistency. The Qs are showing a little bit more. They've been doing it day over day, but no real magnitude there, so be aware of that. The cumulative tick is not supportive of going long here. We're very, very early. We don't have broad participation in this yet. So, if we do get a short-term rally, we've got to be watching for that. Yesterday's, 30-minute flash is not enough to signal going broadly long. And then here, time frame matters. The dropping of the VIX, the decaying of the SPX may offer a short-term rally, but the medium long-term structure is still down. Be aware of that. So you can play the short-term rallies as you see fit, but I think we're still positioned structurally to support a downside move, and a lot of the money is going to the downside move. So that's it for today. Good luck to everyone today. If you liked this content and have questions or comments or want to add your 2 cents, please join us at GammaEdge.us. That'll take you to a sign-up page, which will get you into the Discord, very active Discord. All these tools are turned on. A lot of great traders there, a lot of helpful traders there. So let's come and join us and add your contributions. Follow us on Twitter. We do post this and a few other things from time to time. GammaEdges with an S. And then here on YouTube, if you like today's content, please hit that like button, and of course subscribe to us so you get notified the next time we post something. So make it a great day. We'll see you in the Discord. Thanks.